the Androscoggin River Valley, the people, the places, the events, the history, all that makes up the vibrant story of the towns of the Androscoggin River Valley from Lewiston, Auburn through Mexico, Rumford, and Bethel to New Hampshire.
Hello and welcome to the January 2018 edition of Today River Valley. Today River Valley is the video news feature program for the towns of the Androscoggin Valley in western Maine. My name is Phil Blampied. I'm the host and producer of the program. Well, anyone who has visited the city of Portland knows that there are a lot of homeless people in that city, but the costs of housing in Portland are the highest in the state. It's hard to find homes for the homeless in Portland because the rents are so high. So state officials, including the Maine State Housing Authority and Portland city officials, are starting to look to other communities, including River Valley communities like Rumford and Mexico, to find apartments for the homeless who come from Portland. How is that working out, you might ask? You can imagine that that would raise a few eyebrows. Well, the fact is that it's working out quite well, as we're going to see in the story in this edition. All that and more after a few messages from local businesses.
Today River Valley is sponsored by the Sudbury Inn, lodging, fine dining, and a lively pub right on Main Street in Bethel, Maine.
This winter, you owe yourself a getaway to a charming village like Bethel, Maine, and a stay in an historic inn like the Sudbury Inn, right in the heart of the village of Bethel, where the table is set and waiting for you, and the bed is quilted and pillowed and beckoning you for a good night's sleep in the country air. Whether you've come for a vigorous few days at the area's world-renowned ski areas or a quiet weekend, the Sudbury Inn will welcome you back at the end of the day with fine dining in its main dining room or pub fare and live music in its popular Suds Pub downstairs. It may be located in a small village, but the Sudbury Inn strives to offer world-class cuisine. The menu changes with the seasons, yet always offers three popular classics: broiled seafood sampler, roasted duck, and beef tornadoes. And yes, the inn is affordable. Guests are surprised to find how reasonable room rates are, even though a generous kitchen-cooked full breakfast is included. Besides individual rooms, the inn also offers rustic, apartment-sized, pet-friendly suites for families or large groups. The walkable village lies just outside the doors of the inn, and ski areas are a short drive away. Make this winter a memorable one with a stay this season at the Sudbury Inn, which, as the magazine Bon Appetit put it, is a perfect way to end a day in Bethel.
Everybody can cross-country ski. You don't need to be a great athlete. And in western Maine, everybody knows the place to cross-country is Carter's Cross-Country Ski Centers in Bethel and Oxford, Maine. Don't have equipment? No problem. Carter's offers one of the best selections of quality cross-country ski equipment for sale or rent. At the Bethel Center, forested trails by the banks of the Androscoggin River offer a tranquil, natural feeling with steeper trails across the road for more experienced skiers. Make a weekend of it in the rustic off-the-grid cabins for rent at the Bethel site. The ski shops are open 9 to 5 every day during the winter with everything you need to get out skiing, plus clothing and apparel and cross-country ski repair and tuning services. The trails are open as soon as there's enough snow. Carter's, this winter, let's get you out on the trail and skiing. The Jolly Drayman Pub and the Briarley Inn, a gracious inn in Bethel, Maine with an authentic British pub featuring classic pub fare.
This is Helena at the Jolly Drayman Briarley Inn. Stop by, come to see us. Looking forward to your visit.
After dinner, indulge yourself with a stay in one of the comfortable rooms upstairs in the Briarley Inn, featuring cuddly blankets, down feather pillows, soft linens, fluffy towels, and casual rustic decor. The Jolly Drayman, the authentic British pub in Bethel, Maine, located in the Briarley Inn.
There is a remarkable one-of-a-kind store these days in Bryant Pond, Maine, selling one-of-a-kind items. Goddess Robes is a showroom of exquisite, custom-tailored and designed robes made of silks, satins, washable silks, brocades, and cottons. Goddess Robes are designed for formal occasions or personal relaxation and make getting dressed for even the most elegant occasions a matter of only slipping an elegant robe over your shoulders. Created for the women who know who they are, what they want, and make no apology for either. Goddess Robes on Route 26 in Bryant Pond.
Hum by Verizon, a product that gives you a smarter, safer, more connected car. With easy in-car installation, Hum gives you safety features such as roadside assistance, emergency crash detection, as well as speed and boundary alerts for young drivers. It's as easy as 1, 2. Take your Bluetooth speaker and connect it directly to your visor. And then your hum itself plugs right into your OBD reader. Voila! Hum is the very first Verizon product that virtually pays for itself. How does it do that, you may ask? With monthly discounts from places such as Subway, Sherwin-Williams, Payless Shoes, KFC, Claire's, Sears, Christopher Banks, and dozens more. Look, we've really only scratched the surface on what Verizon Hum can do for you. Come on into the Verizon store in Mexico, Maine, and we'll give you all the information that you need to get set up today.
Washing machines are offering more and more features each year. Well, you may not find anything quite like this yet at Larson's Electric Service in Mexico, but you'll find the latest in everything from washing machines to refrigerators to stoves. With the Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Maytag brands, Larson's offers free delivery and setup of your new appliance plus removal of your old appliance. Over 50 years experience, Larson's, 13 Main Street, Mexico, Maine. Portland, Maine is a place people like to come to. So many people like to come to Portland, in fact, that it has the most expensive housing in Maine. And some of the people who come to Portland discover they can't find a place to live. Portland has more homeless than anywhere else in Maine. Rumford, Maine is not a place that people come to very much. Because the biggest employer, the paper mill, has declined significantly, the population of Rumford is half of what it was a couple of decades ago. There are a lot of empty houses and apartments, rents are low, and there are very few homeless. Why not, then, send some of the homeless in Portland, where they can't afford the rents, to Rumford and other towns in Maine where perhaps they can? In fact, that's what's happening.
Different communities have different opportunities. As you mentioned, the Portland housing market is very tight, it's very expensive, and that plays into whether or not there's an opportunity for a person who might want to be in Portland. They might have to go somewhere where there's other opportunities for them.
While it makes sense to try to find homes for people where they can actually afford the rents, no community wants to hear that homeless people are being sent in from somewhere else. So to avoid just shifting problems from one place to another, state and Portland city officials are using new techniques which so far seem to be working. Portland has placed over a dozen formerly homeless people in apartments in the Rumford and Mexico area, and only one became homeless again. The Rumford, Mexico Welfare Office reports that none of those placed has had to ask for general assistance payments from either town. It's all due to an approach that the Maine State Housing Authority calls its Navigator program.
We came up with the idea of Navigators. We wanted to get away from paying shelters for people staying in shelters. We'd rather pay the shelters for moving people to permanent housing. Dan Brennan, my title is Senior Director for Programs at Maine State Housing Authority.
The only cure for homelessness is a home.
Robert Parrott is the director of the homeless shelter run by the City of Portland, the Oxford Street Shelter.
Doing that in Portland, in the greater Portland area, is becoming more and more challenging as there's a lack of affordable housing, there's gentrification issues, affordable units are not being replaced, and multi-million-dollar condominiums are being built. So we've had to expand our search and catchment area to include towns as far away as Rumford, Mexico, Lewiston, also in southern Maine as well, down to Kittery, York. We go where the units are, where our folks can afford based on whatever voucher program that they're using or what they can afford if they're working. As far as the returns piece, overall, we don't see a lot of returns. We have about a 90% success rate where someone leaves the shelter and we don't see them. Again, 90% of the time.
The success comes from having people on staff for which the Maine State Housing Authority has coined the term navigators. Much of the federal funding for the homeless is channeled through the Maine Housing Authority. The authority used to give aid just to support the cost of running emergency shelters, but that has changed. Now, the authority gives more money to shelters and other programs that hire navigators and less to those that don't. Dan Brennan describes how navigators work.
The key is to have a system set up so that the person who's entering the shelter can be assessed just like any other person wherever they may be, and then they work with a navigator to determine what their solution is. And so where people end up living or where they end up being housed is a relationship between the client and the navigator to make those decisions. There's a follow-up component that a navigator does when they work with people from the shelter. It's not about, it doesn't stop when the person's housed. There's a follow-up component for up to a year where they follow up with the people, talk with them, see where they're at, make sure that they're getting their medical counseling that they should get, their psychological counseling, their job training, whatever that person may need. And that, I think, helps a lot of people succeed. People become homeless for a number of reasons, and identifying it individually and solving it individually we found is the most successful way to go.
And actually our funding is attached to outcomes that says if we don't keep 85% of our people housed, we don't receive funding from Maine State Housing Authority.
And how we do that, or how we feel we do that, is through consistent and commitment.
Aaron Gear is a program manager in the Portland City Health and Human Services Department.
And so Rob and Rob's staff are going out to meet folks. They're going out weekly, sometimes minimally monthly, to check in on folks, make sure folks' bills are paid, make sure folks have enough food. Obviously food is an issue, scarcity in some cases. And so trying to find other resources to put together. And it's once we get someone housed, we sort of build the services around them.
We find housing for probably about 200 folks a year from the Oxford Street Shelter. I mean, Aaron runs the General Assistance Program, which is a whole nother, can of worms. And they provide rental assistance for folks that might not necessarily be homeless. Still, the majority of our placements are in Portland, in the greater Portland metro area, right? So the other thing, I would say about 80%, 85% of our placements are either Portland, Westbrook, South Portland, somewhere on the metro line.
Again, the determination of where someone ends up getting permanent housing really is a relationship between the navigator and the client, as opposed to any form of policy or desire to redistribute.
Like Aaron was saying, I think our success rate sort of speaks for itself. And the other thing too is, you wouldn't even necessarily know that anyone would have come from a shelter. You can't pick someone out of a crowd and say, oh, that person came from a shelter. You'd never know, because they're happy, they're in their apartment, and they're bringing their experiences and their will of community to whatever town they settle in. And folks are so excited to be in their own apartment that they're often, I think, some of the best neighbors that folks can have, honestly.
Hello, I'm Roger Whitehouse, owner and designated broker of Riverside Realty right here in Mexico, Maine. As we say goodbye to the old year and welcome in the new year, my staff and I want to wish you all a very healthy and prosperous new year. And what better way to start a new year than with a new home from Riverside Realty? Let's just take a look at a few of them.
This is MLS 1315004, a 1900 Victorian in Strong, Maine, with 9 rooms, 5 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, a gorgeous wraparound porch, an attached barn with 2-bay garage on a huge fenced-in yard. There is a storage shed in the backyard. The location is convenient to stores, and it's very well maintained. Listed at $138,000. This is MLS 1298159, a 1943 farmhouse on the state road in a rural section of Roxbury, Maine, with 3 bedrooms plus an enclosed porch and an attached 1-car garage. There's a back deck, above-ground pool, and a shed on 3 acres, listed at $149,975.
Whether you're considering buying or selling real estate, call Riverside Realty at 369-0100. Hope to see you soon.
When you have a function coming up and need an affordable place to hold it, call the Paper Plate at 55 Main Street, Route 2 in Mexico, Maine. Featured in Yankee Magazine, the Paper Plate is the cozy place for everything from corporate meetings to birthday parties, from bridal and baby showers to memorial gatherings and celebrations of life. Got an idea for a pop-up store? Try it out at the Paper Plate with its high-traffic visible location on Route 2. Completely handicapped accessible with off-street parking, the Paper Plate is the perfect rental for your business gathering, or social event. And did we mention affordable? Call for rates. You'll be amazed.
Hi, this is Rolly, owner of the Paper Plate. I'd like to invite you to rent our space with a touch of home. You will really enjoy it.
The Paper Plate, 55 Main Street, Mexico, Maine. When's the last time you really had fun? If you've been to Stars and Strikes Bowling Center on Route 26 in South Paris, that was probably it. If you haven't been yet, you've got a treat coming. Stars and Strikes is the Candlepin Bowling Center of Western Maine, located just north of town on Route 26, with a full bar, a complete kitchen with everything from pizzas to burgers to chicken tenders, and a video game arcade for kids. Let us host your next party, whether it's a birthday or another special occasion, with 2 hours of bowling for up to 12 people, including pizza, soda, and even balloons for everybody. Open 7 days a week, 108 Park Street, South Paris, Maine. Check our Facebook page for specific hours. Right here in Turner is New England's largest dealer of trailers for snowmobiles, ATVs, or cargo and equipment at Scott's Recreation. Come into our showroom for everything you need to get out on the trail this winter, from helmets to snowsuits to GoPro cameras, or visit our Manchester location on Route 202.
Hi, I'm Scott from Scott's Recreation. We're ready for winter. Are you?
Scott's Recreation, open Monday through Saturday.
Thinking about a new career? Get on the right road with tractor trailer and school bus driver training at the Region 9 truck driving program right here in Mexico, Maine.
Hi, my name is Ed Naples. I work here at Region 9, and I'd like to give you some thoughts about our truck driver training program.
Class A drivers are in demand, whether you're hauling chips or whether you're going over the road cross country. The jobs are there. If you're thinking about getting your Class B license, the local towns will be looking for drivers for the winter months and the ski areas for plowing. So if you're interested in doing that, give us a call. The opportunity is there for driving school buses in the area. A lot of people are retiring.
So if you like driving, you drive a standard shift, pass a physical and drug test, this could be an opportunity for a career change for you. A lot of people take the course and a lot of people get jobs. We've been doing this program for almost 30 years and have a lot of good success stories. So I invite you to give me a call at 369-9058 and find out more information and sign up for the next class.
Maine is famous for skiing, snowmobiling, and other outdoor activities in the winter, but something else has become very popular in the last couple of decades. It's dog sledding, also called mushing, a tradition well established in the Arctic as an important form of transportation. Now, with just about enough winter in Maine to support it, dog sledding has come south, not for transportation, but for the sheer beauty and fun it offers to anyone who gets on the back of a dog sled and races across the snow. Maine's dog sledding scene varies from hobbyists who use dogs that are hardly more than house pets to serious, skilled guide services with substantial, purebred huskies that could almost be mistaken for a wolf. The amateur side of it is represented by the Downey Sled Dog Club, which held a Mushers Bowl at Fivefield Farms in Bridgeton last February, where dog sledders with teams of various kinds of dogs came together for a day of non-competitive racing through the orchards and fields of Fivefields Farm. The more serious side is exemplified by the Mahoosic Guide Service in Newry, Maine, where those who want an authentic dog sledding experience can choose from anything from day trips in western Maine to week-long camping across the Arctic tundra in northern Canada.
That's people really love it. If you get behind a dog, it's so quiet. It's just like skiing. It's just peaceful.
So we have beginner mushers running the dogs, and it's quite a thrill. Sometimes we have people write to us and say it was like the most memorable experience of their life, or they come back and bring back friends or relatives, and it's a very exciting moment.
Senior, and I live here in South Bridgeton, and this is the Downey Sled Dog club's race. Was 14 teams registered, and I think there's more than that here that have registered today. And it's cold, the dogs love it, you can hear them in the background, and I think everybody's having fun. There's 5, I think, sanctioned races in Maine, several in New Hampshire, and we generally can get 3 or 4 of the races off due to weather conditions. No, it does not have to be a husky. There's poodles, there's hounds, any dog that likes to get the outdoors and run. The longer-legged or the larger dogs seem to do better, but we've actually got poodles running here today, and you wouldn't think of a poodle as a sled dog, but they do very well. And events like this, every time we have a successful one, it seems to create new interest.
While hobbyists and amateurs may be content with using regular dogs for mushing, the owners of the Mahoosic Guide Service wouldn't think of using anything but authentic Arctic sled dogs. In fact, owners Polly Mahoney and Kevin Slater are authentic in every respect. Both have extensive experience in the Arctic regions of Canada. Their dogs have bloodlines traceable to the Arctic village of Old Crow in the Yukon Territory, and they learned to maintain their sleds from a craftsman who traveled with the famous Arctic explorer Admiral Byrd. This all adds up to the fact that when people sign up for one of their trips, they can count on something pretty close to an authentic wilderness experience.
Well, when we started our business 27 years ago, we were offering dog sledding trips, canoeing trips, rock and ice climbing, all at the same, we started with all of those activities. And then now we just do canoeing and dog sledding. But dog sledding is our busiest time of year. We used to be like the only mushers around offering guided trips. There's more people offering them now, but we all have our own styles. But we really love taking people on overnight trips because just being out in the natural world when it's quiet, and the dogs are very excited to go. They just love to pull. It's in their breeding to want to pull. So when you hook them up, they're all excited and jumping and barking, and then as soon as you undo the knot and take off, it's like totally quiet. And you just hear the sound of their panting and the runners on the snow, and it's very peaceful. So this dog here is Jarvis, and he is the best lead dog in the yard. He's 10 years old now, and he's been running in lead for 8 years, and he learned from another dog named Maeve. And this dog is one I can just be thinking of a command, and he'll do it before I actually give it to him. So we have a little mental telepathy going on. So that's one of the hardest things about mushing is when they grow old. So he's 10 now. He's just starting to slow down. I don't know how many more seasons he'll be able to run, but that's the hardest part, is the end of life, because they don't live forever. But he's a great dog. When I was 20, I headed up to Alaska and got into dog sledding up there. So I lived in Alaska and the Yukon for 10 years. We used dogs for hauling firewood and water, and was on a trap line for a little while, and just having them for taking trips in the bush. And then I had the idea I wanted to work for the Outward Bound School, and there's a base here in Newry. So I came back to Maine to work for the Outward Bound School. My partner Kevin was starting a dog sledding program for the school. We keep a sled kennel of 33 dogs right now is what we have. And we raise them from puppies and keep them into retirement until they pass on. Our dogs live a good long life. 13 to 16 is pretty average of how long they live. Our vets love us because we know a lot of them, first name basis. We take really good care of our dogs. In the summer, we have pastures that they run in, so they get to run every day. They're not just tied on a chain. We have 4 1-acre pastures, so they, half of them go out in the morning, then midday we bring them in, and then put the other half out in the afternoon. I love mushing the dogs. 37 years, and it's a little adrenaline rush every time I hook them up. It's just an amazing experience.
If you'd like to attend a dog sled event, the Down East Sled Dog Club will be holding 2 races in February, one in Westbrook, Maine at the Sunset Ridge Golf Club on February 11th, and then the 2-day Maine State Championship at Sandy River Farm in Farmington, Maine on February 17th and 18th. Do a Google search for Down East Sled Dog Club for more information.
At Dan's Automotive, you'll find reliable used cars priced from $3,000 up. You'll get more car for less money.
Here's a great example of what's available at Dan's. Warning, this will probably be sold by the time you see this ad, but if you get lucky, you may still have a chance at this 2006 Jeep Cherokee Laredo. Automatic transmission with 4-wheel drive, it's loaded and has low miles. Offered below book at $6,995.
We bought our car at Dan's and we're glad we did.
Dan's Automotive Repair and Sales, Crescent Avenue, Rumford.
Winter's here, but never fear. Puya is near.
Come to Puya Lumber in Mexico, Maine for the supplies you'll need to keep the warmth in and the cold out. From insulation to wood pellets to energy-efficient windows and doors. The pellets are Maine Woods brand. That's their name and that's their description because they're made right here in Maine. If your windows need updating, check out our Atrium line of premium vinyl windows designed for energy efficiency and lasting beauty. Free local deliveries on orders over $50. Puya Lumber, 369 River Road, Route 2, Mexico, Maine. Yes, there is a health food store in Rumford, Maine. Good Karma Cafe and Health Food.
Hi, we're Glenn and Sandy Gordon, owners of Good Karma Cafe and Health Foods at 72 Congress Street in Rumford, Maine. Check us out on Facebook, goodkarmahealthfoods.com, hashtag eat well, live well, hashtag be kind, do good, eat spinach.
You should see the reviews on Facebook.
Excellent food and superb service.
Taste the freshness.
Hi, Glenn here at Good Karma Cafe and Health Foods. We're celebrating our first year of business. We want to thank everybody so much for coming in and helping us to grow. We are your one-stop shop for health foods, healthy takeout, and good coffee.
Good Karma Cafe and Health Foods, open Monday through Saturday. Excuse me, sir, are you getting a little shaggy around the ears but can't find time for a haircut? Well, now you can. At Lisa's Barbershop at 178 Main Street in Mexico, owner Lisa Shardlow specializes in quick haircuts. No appointment is necessary and there's rarely a wait. At Lisa's, the motto is cut and go.
It's January and the bears are hibernating. Their fur stops growing while they sleep. But unless you hibernate, your hair keeps on growing no matter how cold it is. Get your midwinter cut here at Lisa's.
Lisa's open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to noon.
Get a good haircut here at Lisa's and you won't look like you just crawled out of a cave.
Sportoma is Western Maine's outdoor retail specialist. If you're skiing the Western Mountains this winter, Sportoma on Route 2, Mayville Road in Bethel should be your first stop for quality ski tuning, custom ski boot fitting, and all the equipment and accessories you'll need. And ask about our gift certificate special. Get 10% off by mentioning this ad. That's right, pay $9 and get a $10 gift certificate. Just mention this ad. Sportoma, open 7 days. This month, you can't miss the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Gator Bowl, and especially the Super Bowl. But how do you keep from being bowled over finding all the food and drinks you'll need for everyone gathered around the television set? Score a touchdown with Mountain Valley Variety, starting with the largest beer cave in the area, where football fans can quench their thirst with almost any brew they choose. If a favorite beer isn't in stock, Mountain Valley will find it for you. Feed your fans with an order of Mountain Valley's famous finger rolls or order a party platter. And don't forget the world-famous coleslaw. And with hours of 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day, you can count on Mountain Valley still being open if you run out of something in the middle of the game.
Come on down to Mountain Valley Variety and see us all.
The place is called Northern Lights Hearth and Sports, and it's right on the main road at 639 Wilton Road, that's Route 2 in Farmington. Let's take a look at the sports part of Northern Lights Hearth and Sports, and this winter, it's a selection of gear to get you out and enjoying the snow, including a great selection of downhill and cross-country skis, snowshoes, and fat tire snow bikes by Salsa and Frames. Clothing, helmets, gloves, and hats and accessories, they've got them. Northern Lights open Monday through Saturday.
Today River Valley is sponsored by the Sudbury Inn, lodging, fine dining, and a lively pub right on Main Street in Bethel, Maine.
Well, that's it for the January 2018 edition of Today River Valley. This is Phil Blampede, the host and producer of the program. Remember, you can always watch the current edition at todayrivervalley.com. Stay warm, drive safely, and see you next month.